Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 16. Praise of King Pṛthu by the professional reciters. So text 1, Maitreya Vacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Iti Bruvanam Nripatim.
Iti Bruvanam
Iti
Nirpatim.
Bhuvranam Nipatam.
Gayaka Munichodita.
Gayaka Munichodita.
Gayaka Munichoditaha.
Tushtuvus Manasas.
Tushtuvas Manasa.
Tushtuvo Tushtamanasaha.
Tadvag Amrita Sevaya.
Tatvak Amrita Sevaya.
Tatvak Amrita Sevaya.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Maitreya continued, while King Pṛthu thus spoke, the humility of his nectarian speeches pleased the reciters very much. Then again, they continued to praise the king highly with exalted prayers as they had been instructed by the great sages. Here the word Muni Chodita indicates instructions received from great sages and saintly persons. Although Maharaj Pṛthu was simply enthroned on the royal seat and was not at that time exhibiting his godly powers, the reciters like the Sutta, the Magadha, and the Vandi understood that King Pṛthu was an incarnation of God. So they could understand this by the instructions given by the great sages and learned Brahmins. So the people who are glorifying Pṛthu Maharaj, they are not just glorifying him out of sentiment, but because they heard from the great authorities that Pṛthu Maharaj is an incarnation of God. So they are listening to the authority. They are listening to the Brahmanas, the sages. Lord Brahma also said that we have to understand the incarnations of God by the instructions of authorized persons. We cannot manufacture a God by our own concoctions. As stated by Narottam Das Thakur, Sadhu Shastra Guru. One has to test all spiritual matters according to the instructions of saintly persons, scriptures, and the spiritual master. So Sadhu Shastra Guru. Regarding all spiritual matters, we have to check with Sadhu Shastra and Guru. We can't simply follow emotionally or because a certain group of people are following this, or follow that, my peers are following this, or this is a tradition coming in generations from my family. But it actually has to be tested with Sadhu Shastra and Guru to understand what we are going to follow. Is it bona fide? Is it authorized? Is it proper? Is it actually going to lead us to God realization, to self-realization? The spiritual master is one who follows the instructions of his predecessors, namely the sadhus or saintly persons. So Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. So the Guru, it's not that he's going to make up his own ideas or his own way of doing things. No, he just follows. Who? Follows the previous acharyas, he follows the sadhus, and he follows the Shastra. A bona fide spiritual master does not mention anything not mentioned in the authorized scriptures. So a guru, a spiritual master who's really bona fide, who's authorized, who's coming in the disciplic succession, who's coming in the parampara, he is not going to speak anything which is not been said by the previous authorities, which is not stated in the Shastras, which is not said by the sadhus. Ordinary people have to follow the instructions of Sadhu Shastra and Guru. So this is the test for us to follow. If we really want to take up spiritual life. Those statements made in the Shastras and those made by the bona fide sadhu or guru cannot differ from one another. And we can see the bona fide guru, the bona fide sadhu, and the Shastra, they will all speak the same. There's not going to be any contradiction because they're speaking about the same matter, love of Krishna. They're speaking about Krishna. Any comments or questions on this?
No, but then this is so nice that in the beginning also yesterday that Pṛthu Maharaj himself said that, oh no, until the qualities doesn't appear, I'm not ready to accept. And like for us, we don't even have the quality, but then we claim that, I am this. So at that time, they were so humble and so pious.
Yes, that's right. And as we said, Pṛthu Maharaj was setting an example for everyone to follow. That are the qualities exemplified. If not, then one should not proclaim to have them. So thank you. Thank you. Reciters like the Sutta and the Magadha were confidentially aware that King Pṛthu was an incarnation of the personality of Godhead. Although the king denied such praise because he was not at that time exhibiting his godly qualities, the reciters did not stop praising him. Rather, they were very pleased with the king who, although actually an incarnation of God, was so humble and delightful in his dealings with his devotees. So after Pṛthu Maharaj was telling them, no, don't praise me. I've not even exhibited anything. It's not that they stopped praising him. They were in fact pleased to see his humility. And they continued to praise him. In this connection, we may note that previously, 4:15:21, it was mentioned that King Pṛthu was smiling and was in a pleasant mood while speaking to the reciters. Thus, we have to learn from the Lord or his incarnation how to become gentle and humble. So Pṛthu Maharaj's behavior is very pleasing to everyone. He's speaking smilingly, he's speaking in a very humble and gentle manner, and that's how he's attracting the hearts of everyone. And Prabhupada is saying, we have to learn from the Lord or his incarnation. And what do we have to learn? How to become?
Humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, gentle.
Humble.
Even yesterday's lecture at the temple, we heard about humility, that be as humble as a blade of grass. And
Yes, that's what Lord Chaitanya says.
Yeah, actually, Lord Chaitanya,
like,
third.
we are chanting, but then
Yeah.
with that chant, with
Feeling.
humility, with
Yeah, you have to
feelings.
with the humility, the feeling that needs to be there. Humble.
Yeah,
And that's how we will be able to attract the mercy of Krishna.
that's the key quality, right? The thing that we must have in us. Yeah.
Humility. Lord Chaitanya says, only in a humble state of mind can we constantly chant the holy name. So then how can we become humble? We continue to chant the holy name. To manifest that humility. So they go hand in hand. Continue to chant, to become humble, chant in a humble mood. The king's behavior was very pleasing to the reciters, and consequently, the reciters continued their praise and even foretold the king's future activities, as they had been instructed by the sadhus and sages. So Pṛthu Maharaj is saying, don't praise me, don't praise me. But the reciters are continuing to praise him. Not only that, they're also saying what activities Pṛthu Maharaj is going to do. And how do they know? The authorities already know that Pṛthu Maharaj is going to do this and he's going to do that and he's going to do this. So we can see when the Lord or his incarnation comes, his activities are also foretold. You know, it's not that it's just made up or something. No, they're foretold of what the Lord is going to do in this incarnation. Like Bhagavatam says, for example, the 11th canto of Bhagavatam says about Lord Caitanya, that he will come with the weapon of the holy name. So it's already foretold, you know, then that becomes like one more evidence for us to understand, oh, this is the incarnation of the Lord, or this is the Lord himself, because his activities are also already predicted.
So the Bhagavatam was there before Lord Chaitanya came?
Yes, Bhagavatam is spoken 5,000 years ago.
I thought
And Lord Chaitanya came about 537.
7 years. Yeah, right. Okay.
So already 5,000 years ago, Bhagavatam already predicted that Krishna is going to come as Lord Chaitanya. And what is he going to be doing? He's going to be giving the Harinam Sankirtan to everyone. And those who are intelligent, the intelligent persons will worship Lord Krishna as Lord Chaitanya. So this is Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 32. That Canto 11, Bhagavatam says that. So reading on. Nalam vayam te mahimanuvarnane.
Nalam vayam
Nalam vayante mahima anuvarnane.
Yo deva varyo avatataramaya.
Yo deva
Yo
varyo
deva varyo avatatar
Ramaya.
mayaya.
Venangajatasya cha paurushanite.
Venangajasya
Venangajatasya cha
Paurashanite.
poroshanite.
Vachaspatinam api bhapramodiyah.
Vachaspatinam
Vachaspatinam api bhavrumudhiyah.
The reciters continue, Dear King, you are a direct incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, and by his causeless mercy, you have descended to this earth. Therefore, it is not possible for us to actually glorify your exalted activities. Although you have appeared through the body of King Vena, even great orators and speakers like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot exactly describe the glorious activities of your Lordship. So here the reciters are saying something true. You know, we may attempt to glorify the Lord, but the Lord's glories are unlimited. It is said that Ananta Shesh, since the beginning of creation, he's been speaking the glories of Lord Krishna. But till today, he has not finished speaking the glories. He's continuously speaking the glories. And Anantashesha is not that he has only one mouth. He has unlimited mouths. So with unlimited mouths, since eternally he's been speaking the glories and he's continuing to speak. So what about us, you know? We can just attempt to glorify the Lord. This is what the reciters are saying. It is not possible for us to actually glorify your exalted activities. In this verse, the word Mayaya means by your causeless mercy. The Mayavadi philosophers explain the word Maya as meaning illusion or falseness. However, there is another meaning of Maya, that is causeless mercy. There are two kinds of Maya, Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Mahamaya is an expansion of Yoga Maya. And both these Mayas are different expressions of the Lord's internal potencies. So we may say Maya means illusion, but Maya also means the Lord's mercy. Why? Because the Yoga Maya, which is the Lord's internal potency, she's the original uh, Maya. And the Mahamaya, um, which is the material energy, she is an expansion of the original internal energy, which is called Yogamaya. So Yogamaya is the original, and her expansion is the Mahamaya. And the Mahamaya is this external energy, the material world. And Yogamaya, that's the internal energy. As
Who is
stated in Bhagavad Gita.
right? Who is Radharani? Yogamaya.
I'm sorry.
Who is
Yogamaya.
Radharani?
Yeah,
For
Yogamaya.
Yogamaya.
Yogamaya, yeah. Radharani, she is the original of all the energy.
Mhm.
She is the origin. And of course, sometimes we refer to this Yogamaya as Purnamasi in Krishna Leela also, But we understand that, yes, Radharani, she's the origin of all the energy. And Mahamaya, that's Durga Devi. So Durga Devi, where does she come from? She's an expansion of?
Yogamaya.
Yeah, of Radharani.
Radharani.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's like through costless mercy of Radharani, we can get Krishna's, right? Krishna's
Yeah,
love.
that's right. That's right. That's why Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And by her compassion, he is giving this freely, Krishna prem to everyone, making it available for even people like us. Yes. Because Srimati Radharani, she is supremely compassionate, extremely merciful. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears through his internal potencies, Atma Maya. Yeah. We should therefore reject the Mayavad explanation that the Lord appears in a body given by the external potency, the material energy. So when Krishna comes to this material world, his body, that is not material. Our body is material, yes. In this material world, we are wearing the dress of the material body. But when Krishna comes, he does not. So Prabhupada gives the example that a king, he is going to visit the prison. So he's just visiting the prison. It's not that he's become a prisoner. It's not that the jailers, the police people, they have caught him and they have thrown him into the jail, and that the rules of the jail apply to him, and that he cannot leave the jail at his own will. No, he has just come there by his own will to just have a look, to see, is there any prisoner who is reformed and who can be taken out of the prison. So now, if the prisoner keeps telling the king, oh, you are also a prisoner, then this prisoner, he is wasting his opportunity. He, in fact, can approach the king and say, oh, my dear king, I'm so sorry, kindly take me out of here. Instead of doing that, he keeps saying, oh, the king has also become a prisoner, king has also become a prisoner. So we should avoid doing that. That when Krishna is coming to the material world, we should not say, oh, Krishna has taken a material body. We should understand that Krishna's body is transcendental, as it is stated by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita and all other authorities. Just by understanding this point, Krishna says, we can get out of the material world. We can go back home, back to Godhead. So Krishna's body is never material. His body is not made of earth, water, air, fire, ether. But his body is, anyone?
Transcendental.
That's right, transcendental. Yeah. The Lord and his incarnation are fully independent and can appear anywhere and everywhere by virtue of the internal potency. Although born out of the so-called dead body of King Vena, King Pṛthu was still an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the Lord's internal potency. So King Pṛthu, although he is, Prabhupada is pointing out, he's come from the dead body of Vena, but after all, he is empowered by the Lord himself, he's directly under the control of the internal energy of Krishna. We, the souls, in the spiritual world, we are under the control of the internal energy. And when we say, no, I don't want to be under the control of the internal energy, I want to be God myself, then we are put into this material world. Then what happens is, we just think that we are independent, but actually under whose control are we?
Yogamaya.
Under the three modes of nature.
Yogamaya
That's
and
right.
3 modes.
3 modes, not Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the
Oh, not Yogamaya.
internal energy, the 3 modes of nature.
Oh,
This
so we are
material
not under
world
the
is-
so we are not under the control of Yogamaya.
No, Yogamaya is the internal energy. We are
I
under the
think we are
control
under
of
the control of Mahamaya.
That's right.
Oh, sorry,
Mahamaya.
Mahamaya. Sorry, Mahamaya.
That's-
Sorry, Mahamaya. Oh my
that's
God,
right.
Radha. Yeah, sorry,
As you
Mahamaya.
rightly also said, the 3 modes of material nature.
3 modes of nature.
Mahamaya controls us by these 3 modes of material nature. That's correct. And we keep on thinking we are independent, but we are not able to understand. Actually, these modes are making us dance like puppets. So we are saying, oh, I want to be independent of Krishna. I don't want to be under the control of his internal energy. But instead, we have landed here under the control of the 3 modes of nature. So, continuing to read. Now, the Lord can appear in any family. Sometimes he appears as a fish incarnation, Matsya avatar, or a bow incarnation, Varaha avatar. Thus, the Lord is completely free and independent to appear anywhere and everywhere by his internal potency. So, Krishna, by his own will, he's taking the form of a fish or of a boar. But when we are coming in the body of a fish or a boar, it's not by our own wish. It's not that we say, oh, yeah, let me become a fish. Fish body is nice. We are pushed into that body. We just find ourselves in a particular body based on our karma and the cycle of evolution that we have.
Desire.
I'm sorry?
And also desires.
Desire.
Like what
yes.
desires we have and the karmas
That's right.
and the karmas.
That's right. So is that also for the Lord?
No.
No.
That's right. Yeah. He comes out of his own free will. He's completely independent. But he can take any form wherever he likes. He can appear in any family he likes, wherever he likes. It is stated that Ananta, an incarnation of the Lord, who has unlimited powers, cannot reach the end of his glorification of the Lord. Although Ananta has been describing the Lord since time immemorial. So what to speak of demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others? So, saying again the same point that Ananta Shesh, since time immemorial, he's speaking the glories of the Lord. Till today, he's not finished speaking the glories. Then Lord Brahma, our Lord Brahma, he has only four heads. Lord Shiva has only 5 heads. What to speak about them? And what to speak about us? We have only one tiny head, one tiny mouth. So if the demigods cannot find adequate language to express the glories of the Lord, then what to speak of others? Consequently, reciters like the Sutta and Magat felt inadequate to speak about King Pṛthu. So this is also a mood. This is a good mood to approach the Lord or his incarnation, feeling oneself inadequate. Not, so the Sutta and Magat, they are being good examples that we can follow. That, it's only out of the Lord's mercy that I'm able to glorify the Lord. It's by his mercy. Otherwise, who am I to be able to glorify the Lord? By glorifying the Lord with exalted verses, one becomes purified. So what happens is we may glorify somebody of the material world, but that does not purify our heart. But when we glorify the Lord, then all his pure devotees, when we hear about the glorification of the Lord, all his pure devotees, our heart becomes purified. Although we are unable to offer prayers to the Lord in an adequate fashion, our duty is to make the attempt in order to purify ourselves. So we may say, oh, who am I to glorify the Lord? I don't have the capability. But Prabhupada is pointing out, no, we should still attempt it. Why? For our own purification. It is not that we should stop our glorification because demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot adequately glorify the Lord. Rather, as stated by Prahlad Maharaj, everyone should glorify the Lord according to his own ability. Because Krishna, we can approach Krishna from whatever is our position. We do not have to copy another or try to, show something that we are not. At our own level, we can attempt to glorify the Lord. Of course, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Not mental concoction, but actually following the prayers of the great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Kunti Devi. Bhagavatam is full of prayers. If we are serious and sincere devotees, the Lord will give us the intelligence to offer prayers properly. So, sincere Krishna sees the sincerity. If we are sincere, Krishna will give us the intelligence. He says in the Bhagavad Gita also, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. That's Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, one of the Chatushloki. So we simply have to make a sincere effort, and then Krishna reciprocates. Is that okay?
Yes.
Also, through chanting is one way, right, of glorifying the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chanting Hare Krishna mantra is the best way to glorify the Lord. Very appropriate. Thank you. Yes. Yes. So we'll stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.